Coming up on Tiger Insider TV, is the nation's #1 prospect now a lean towards Alabama? We'll tell you what his coach had to say. Plus, another top prospect will be in town this Thursday. Who is he, and is Crimson in his future? And Nick Saban says he's mellowed over the years. We'll tell you what else the coach had to say in a recent magazine interview. Saban talks about everything from the 2010 season to how long he'll be coaching. TITV starts right now.
Go inside the Crimson Tide. Tiger Insider TV with Rodney Orr and Gary Harris.
And it is a tradition like none other. Gary Harris heads down to the coast for some fun in the sun, and you get me tonight. John Huddleston sitting in tonight for Gary Harris. He's Rodney Orr, you know him, and this is Tiger Insider TV presented by the good folks at Buffalo Rock. Tonight we've got Sunkissed up here on the set, and as Gary does every week, pop the top, right?
That's typical.
Yeah, that's typical for Gary. He'll be back next week. For tonight, we've got a lot to talk about, starting with some recruiting tonight. You want recruiting information? Here you go. Take a look at this guy. Jadeveon Clowney, a prospect from Rock Hill, South Carolina, considered to be the best prospect in the nation. 6'6", 247 pounds, and it looks like he might be a lean towards Alabama. Check out some of these quotes that Rodney got from his coach earlier in the week. This is Bobby Carroll, the head coach at South Point High School, and this is on Jadeveon's visit to the Alabama campus. Quote, "It was the most incredible thing I've seen in 28 years of coaching. The whole genre of Alabama football, the facilities, the loyalty, and the commitment of their coaching staff is a special thing. We even saw the coaches' wives hanging around the football offices encouraging people. I tell you, man, they have something special down there." As for what Clowney thought of the visit, Carroll says he was very impressed. He got to hang around with some of the players. They treated us like absolute royalty. It was amazing. They gave us a grand tour. It was just awesome. As for Bama's chances with Clowney, the coach says, quote, "He likes the school. I mean, how can you not like the University of Alabama? 13 national championships, and how many SEC championships? 22 SEC championships. They've played 22 games on national TV the last 2 years. 90,000 people come to your spring game. I think that pretty much sums up football. Anybody that doesn't like that is crazy." Wow, that's the first thing I've got to say about that, Rodney. You've been doing this for a long time, and when you hear a coach talk like that, it makes you feel good about getting the guy to your school.
Yeah, it does. But again, you know, John, when you look at the overall recruiting process, you also realize that he is from the state of South Carolina. There is a tremendous amount of pressure in that state by the home state schools, South Carolina and Clemson, and they have some history of landing the better players in that state. But then again, there is indication throughout the years that prospects from that state leave, as did last year John Fulton, the great cornerback who left, came to Alabama. So again, I think Alabama is definitely a player. Coach Carroll said that to me, that Alabama was going to be a major factor in Jadeveon's decision.
And also, if I remember right, Gerald Dixon, Coach Dixon's father, right, was coached by Coach Saban, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, Gerald Dixon is another prospect, John, a defensive lineman on that team.
Right,
came
yeah,
on the visit
that's right.
with Jadeveon and Coach Carroll. And Gerald Dixon's father played for Nick Saban at the Cleveland Browns.
Well, there you go. Another guy on Alabama's radar, Curtis Grant, a linebacker, 6'3", 222 pounds, from Richmond, Virginia. He's visited Florida, Clemson, Virginia Tech, Duke, Maryland, North Carolina. Going to be in town on Thursday, Rodney.
Yeah, Curtis, a great player, one of the top linebackers in the country from Heritage High School there, and widely recruited. John, Alabama, Florida, Clemson, Georgia, Georgia Tech. He's going to visit all those within the next week. His last stop is going to be here on Thursday. He'll be here all day, and we'll see what happens with Curtis, but Alabama's certainly going to be a factor in his decision as well.
Another top prospect, Tony Stewart. Not Tony Stewart, not the NASCAR driver. Rather, he's 6'2", 217 pounds, from St. Augustine, Florida, a linebacker out of there. He has offers from Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, and that's just the SEC. Yep,
John, he's a big-time player. Right now, he says he's leaning to Clemson over Alabama, Florida, Florida State, UCLA, and Georgia. And again, when you look at Tony Stewart, he can go just about anywhere in the country. He's going to make an unofficial visit here next month. He told us that last night, so anything can happen.
This next guy is another big-time prospect, Jesse Williams, a defensive tackle, 6'4", 330 pounds, from Yuma, Arizona, placed at Arizona Western Community College, so a JUCO player. He has over 40 scholarship offers. Last season alone, his freshman season at Arizona Western, had 46 tackles, 7 for a loss, and 4 sacks out there.
Yeah, might be the best interior defensive lineman in the junior college ranks. John, certainly one of those. Alabama now the leader over LSU, Arkansas, Oregon State, and several others. As you mentioned, John, he has over 40 offers, but he could make a decision sometime this summer. He will be a December graduate, which means he can come in and go through spring practice. And talking to his coach, Coach Minnick, he said that Alabama has done the best job of recruiting Jesse Williams, who, by the way, is originally from Australia.
Another prospect coming to Alabama, looking at Alabama from Shreveport, Louisiana, Jamarie Rasco. Plays at Evangel Christian down there, and looks like Bama's now in the running for him.
Yeah, another great prospect in the Evangel Christian mold, John. They put out, seems like, great players every single year, and Jamarie is another one of those great ones. I really thought early on that Texas and LSU were the two teams, but Alabama, Bo Davis, the assistant coach who recruits that area for Alabama, has done an incredible job right now. Flip a coin. It could go any direction. It's still very early, John, but I think Alabama has made up tremendous ground. May even be the leader right now for Jamarie Rasco.
So a chance Alabama is
no question.
the leader right now.
No question.
Well, that's a look at some of the defensive players on Bama's radar. Let's now turn our attention to some of the offensive guys. And we begin with one young man that you might see playing at either wide receiver or running back. George Atkinson III, his father, former Raider DB, George Atkinson II, and he's going to camp at Alabama next month, I believe.
Yeah, tremendous athlete, John. One of the fastest prospects in the state of California, timed at 10.5s or under in the 100 meters. So, again, a tremendous prospect, recruited coast to coast, Alabama, Oregon among his favorites. And he's coming. Not only is he coming, but his brother Josh, who's an outstanding cornerback, has not been offered by Alabama. Josh hasn't. George has. But both of them will be here at the camp next month, and as well as George Atkinson. His father, as you mentioned, was a great defensive back, played with Jack Tatum in those great Raider teams in the 70s, and going to be interesting to see what George does.
Savon Huggins, a running back from Jersey City, New Jersey, and looks like at Rutgers might be the team to beat here.
Well, it could well be, John. He's not very far from the Rutgers campus. Again, he has a great relationship with Greg Schiano, the head coach up there. We had a story on Savon yesterday, I believe it was, on TiderInsider.com. Tremendous running back. But certainly, he's already been to Alabama on a visit, and Alabama's certainly one of the teams that's in the mix for Savon. Keep a close eye on him. Again, as we know, Alabama really would like to get a big-time running back in this recruiting class.
Reading your story on Savon the other day, the thing that impressed me most about him was that he said, quote, "I want to get a ring." And we all know if you want to get a ring, Alabama seems to be the place that you go.
Team player, no question.
Malcolm Brown, a running back from Texas. You had a story up on him back on June 3rd. He has offers from Alabama, Notre Dame, and Texas. Again, that's just to begin with his offers.
Yeah, again, John, when you look at the state of Texas, it's very difficult to go in there and get a player that the University of Texas really wants. Alabama's making a strong case. Malcolm was here last week on an unofficial visit and tried to reach his coach, Coach Mike Jinks. Haven't been able to touch base with him yet on exactly how that visit went, but Alabama's in the mix, but again, you have to say that until he says a school other than Texas, the Longhorns certainly have to be considered the favorite.
All right, and still to come on TITV tonight, news regarding the Alabama baseball team. One Tide junior has inked his contract, another is close to doing so. Also ahead, a former Crimson Tide quarterback has signed on as the head football coach at a local Tuscaloosa high school. Do you know who number 6 is in these pictures? Also, we're taking your phone calls, answering your emails. There's the number on your screen. Stick around, TITV, back after this.